This is United Network News with Sunny Galt, Calen, Kimberly Gogan, and our field messengers from around the world. Here's today's real news. It's Friday, May 16th, 2025, and here are today's stories. Staten Island's egg shelves are nearly empty and prices are soaring. Irene investigates how the avian flu is rattling New York's egg supply and your wallet. In Iraq, power outages leave millions sweating through scorching days. We break down why the country's grid can't keep up and what's standing in the way of solutions. Ghana's gold boom comes with a dark side. Illegal mining is damaging land, rivers, and livelihoods. We uncover the hidden costs of the country's richest resource. Plus, parasites. They're more common than you think. Emma shares practical ways to clear them from your system and boost your well-being. Before you click that Buy Now, Pay Later button, find out the real pros and cons behind this booming shopping trend. And Bay Laurel isn't just a kitchen staple. We'll show you how to turn this fragrant leaf into a detox drink with surprising health perks.
Egg prices in Staten Island have soared with limited availability of cage-free and organic options. UNN Field Messenger Irene investigates the impact of the avian flu narrative and how it has led to a spike in egg prices across New York City and surrounding areas.
Good morning and good day to all my folks out there. This is Irene, your field messenger from Staten Island, and I'm just responding to the field messenger reports that CJ and Justin and Candace did on the eggs that's going on in their neck of the woods.
And my first stop today is the local Stop and Shop, and we're going to be checking out the prices of eggs here. And if you can tell, 1.5 dozen eggs are insane for about $13, $11.99 for a dozen and a half here, and $9.99 for a dozen eggs. And here we are, $8.49 for these particular type of eggs, and then a whole whopping almost $21 for 2.5 dozen eggs here at the local Stop and Shop. And if you notice in the refrigerated case, there are only certain eggs being offered here. There are no cage-free or organic eggs other than the conventional eggs that are being sold. Yeah, and this is what we have to choose from. Hopefully they have leveled out at this price, and hopefully they will be lower in a few coming weeks, I guess. And so now we're going to take a walk at Costco. And this particular day, as I visit Costco, there are no eggs. Your limit is only 3 per person, and there are none to be had here. So let's take a walk at my local ShopRite. And here we have the same. Everything is pretty much the same as my local Stop and Shop, $8.99, $9.99. However, they do offer brown eggs. And the prices here are pretty much the same as your local Stop and Shop. And here we have 1.5 dozen eggs. And $5 for half a dozen eggs, and we used to pay less than that about a year ago for a full dozen eggs. So this is what we have here in NYC, Staten Island in particular, and I know they leveled out in these prices, but I know the narrative of the avian flu is still full blown, and hopefully this will end. And I want to thank everyone for watching, and have a good day.
Iraq has been struggling with a power crisis for years, and it's something millions of people feel every day. Frequent outages and an unreliable electricity supply have become a major source of frustration, especially during the hot summer months. The problem is a mix of old infrastructure, rising demand, and the country's ongoing political and economic challenges. You'd think a country that's a major oil producer would have its energy situation under control, but Iraq still relies heavily on imported energy to keep the lights on. The International Monetary Fund says since 2003, more than $60 billion has been poured into the electricity sector. Yet blackouts remain a constant struggle. Issues like mismanagement, wars, Western sanctions, corruption, and a lack of proper investment in infrastructure have slowed any real progress toward energy independence. A big part of the problem is Iraq's reliance on Iran for gas and electricity. According to reports, about 50 million cubic meters of gas are imported daily, costing Iraq $4 to $5 billion a year. This accounts for roughly a third of the country's power supply. But with frequent disruptions in supply from Iran, millions are left in the dark. To make matters worse, in February 2025, the U.S. revoked a waiver that had allowed Iraq to import Iranian gas despite sanctions, adding yet another layer of complexity to an already tough situation.
The United States has revoked Iraq's sanctions waiver for Iranian energy imports, ending an exemption it had maintained since 2018. The decision forces Baghdad to navigate multiple concurrent crises without Iranian energy inputs. Iraq faces Syria's power vacuum, an armed militia resurgence, and planned U.S. force withdrawal by 2026. Baghdad must now accelerate alternative energy arrangements with Turkey and Gulf states while managing domestic electricity shortages. Washington appears willing to accept short-term disruption in bilateral ties for strategic gains against Iran. Regional powers increasingly find themselves caught between strategic imperatives as traditional policy balances give way to zero-sum calculations.
The Iraqi government is exploring ways to address its energy challenges, including importing gas from Turkmenistan, but this requires transporting gas through Iran. Increasing domestic gas production is another option, though it would take at least 4 years to become viable. Iraq has also considered importing liquefied natural gas through the port of Zubair, but this would take about 5 months, making it unavailable before July 2025. Energy demand peaks in summer, adding urgency to these efforts. According to Iraqi News, Iraq currently imports 300 megawatts of electricity from Turkey and aims to double this by next summer, but it won't fully offset the shortfall from the ban on imports from Iran. Many Iraqis rely on private generators, which are costly and contribute to pollution and noise. While solar energy is available in Iraq, it remains largely untapped.
Summertime in Iraq and scorching temperatures are coupled with frequent power cuts. The eastern suburbs of Baghdad are among the hardest hit. The state grid only supplies electricity for 3 hours out of every 6. 70-year-old Kadhimiya lives with her family in their small house. Most of their household equipment doesn't work anymore.
We don't use the fridge anymore because it was ruined by electricity cuts and our food perished. These days, we splash water on ourselves with water to alleviate the heat.
Generators are the only option for some Iraqis. War damage and decades of neglected infrastructure have long caused shortages. Blackouts have increased because some facilities have been attacked by armed groups. Some Iraqis have bought generators to hire them out to neighbors. With a fragile national grid, local generators like these have become a profitable business venture. You can see their wires dangling in streets and crisscrossing alleys all over the country, posing a safety threat to residents.
Iraq recently teamed up with Germany's Siemens Energy on a new energy deal to boost power generation and upgrade its electricity system, according to Iraqi News. The deal also includes maintenance contracts for major power plants, aiming to improve efficiency and raise the country's total generation capacity to 38,000 megawatts. Ghana, Africa's top gold producer, has a rich history of gold mining dating back centuries. While the gold industry plays a crucial role in the country's economy, illegal mining, or galamsey, has become a big problem. This unregulated activity is damaging the environment and putting communities and livelihoods at risk. Harsh economic times with a high cost of living, rising gold prices, and youth unemployment have fueled the growth of illegal gold mining in Ghana, despite military efforts to stop galamsey activities. Galamsey refers to a small-scale, unauthorized gold mining, often done without permits and using harmful methods like mercury poisoning to extract gold. Illegal mining has serious consequences, and one of the biggest issues is deforestation and habitat destruction. Large areas of land are cleared with heavy machinery, destroying ecosystems, wildlife habitats, and reducing biodiversity. It's also taken a toll on Ghana's cocoa industry, another major export, since farmlands are being uprooted by galamseyers. Another major problem is water pollution, since harmful chemicals like mercury and cyanide are used to extract gold, contaminating water sources and causing severe health issues like kidney disease, nervous system damage, and even cancer. Plants and crops are affected too, with heavy metals altering growth and ruining their nutritional value. On top of that, mining leads to soil degradation, stripping topsoil and nutrients, which makes farming difficult.
Illegal gold mining. At least 4.5 million people, or 1 in every 7 Ghanaians, relies on this largely informal mining sector, known as galamsey. I traveled to Takwa in southwest Ghana, where illegal mines have mushroomed. There is some legal small-scale mining, but most of it is illegal. The lack of oversight has allowed them to cause devastating environmental damage. Gold has been part of Ghana's fabric for centuries. What started as local communities using basic tools has evolved into organized groups using heavy machinery. That's a problem for everybody. With gold at record high prices, galamsey miners are digging up rivers and moving to new land sites without restoring the ones they've excavated, leaving toxic waste behind. The water utility has blamed illegal mining for reduced supply. Polluted rivers are losing fish, and the anti-galamsey movement gained momentum as protests erupted in the capital, Accra. But in a country facing high unemployment and widespread poverty, there are few alternative sources of livelihood. Politicians know that full well, and that's one of the reasons why it's been so difficult to make progress.
In an effort to boost revenue and protect its gold industry, Ghana has banned foreigners from trading in its gold market. The newly formed Ghana Gold Board, or Gold BOD, now has full control over buying, selling, and exporting artisanally mined gold. All licenses previously issued by the Precious Minerals Marketing Company and the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources have been revoked. The Ghanaian gold dealers had until April 30th to apply for new licenses under the Ghana Gold Board Act. The government says these changes aim to support small-scale miners and ensure the country benefits more from its gold sector. Anyone trading gold without a gold BOD license will face criminal charges. Local and foreign companies can no longer export gold directly and must now go through Gold BOD.
Mining is crucial to Ghana's economy. For decades, it has been a major contributor to its GDP, raking in foreign exchange earnings. Licensed small-scale mining is an important part of this puzzle. Artisanal mining employs at least 1.5 million people directly and indirectly, according to Ghana's Minerals Commission statistics. Over 3,000 small-scale mining groups are registered and licensed to operate. Small-scale miners account for approximately 35% of all gold produced in the country. But the miners accuse licensed gold traders, largely foreigners, of unfair dealings.
The foreigners were taking undue advantage of the sector. Sometimes they buy it as cheap as till 20% of the world market price.
The government says it wants to protect the interests of small-scale miners. A new agency, the Ghana Gold Board, would now take charge of all local gold trading activities.
So what is going to happen now is that if you want to sell gold, if you want to export gold, you'd have to deal with Gold Board.
In 2022, 60 tons of gold worth an estimated $1.2 billion was smuggled from Ghana, according to the government. Foreign gold traders are sometimes accused of complicity.
The Gold Board concept puts the Ghanaian first, and it's a concept that has been instituted to help us ensure that we maximize profit from our gold and other natural resources.
The Ghana Gold Board has extended the deadline for small-scale mining companies and gold dealers to reapply for licenses to May 21st, 2025. The extension gives traders an extra 3 weeks to complete their applications and transition to the new framework. While some have started the process, the board wants to ensure everyone has enough time to comply with the new regulations.
Hi everyone, this is Leanne.
And I'm Jerry.
Coming to you from Tamworth, New South Wales.
Hi there, this is Rick from Arizona.
My name is Uchechukwu Ogbenebam from Igbo tribe, Nigeria.
Hi, this is Scott from Utah.
I'm Annette from Agassiz, British Columbia.
Hi, I'm Marcus Sulzet from Manipur State, India.
Real people reporting real stories from all around the world. That's what United Network News is all about.
Can you clap?
We had a huge flood, which some call the flood of the century.
No fake news here. Our field messengers share personal experiences of what's really happening in their community.
We got some nice fish right here.
At UNN, you are the news.
My family and I had a very good time.
Take the next step. Become a UNN field messenger and share the real news with the world.
In the Northwest Province of South Africa, I am United Network News.
I am United Network News.
I am United Network News.
I am United Network News, and if it's going to be, it's up to me.
It's going to be, it's up to me. If it is going to be, it's up to me.
If it's going to be, it's up to me.
If it's going to be, it's up to us. Field Messages, United Network News. See you next time.
Step into a world of possibilities with New Earth, a groundbreaking series that shines light on holistic ways to live, work, and thrive. Join us weekly to discover new innovative ideas and explore the world around us as we, together, create our future, our New Earth.
Parasites are more common than people think and can cause a range of health issues. Eliminating them can greatly improve overall well-being. UNN Field Messenger Emma shares tips on how to effectively rid your body of parasites.
Hi, this is Emma, Field Messenger for UNN, reporting from Fuerteventura, Spain in Europe. This report is going to be about my parasite experience and the health benefits of cleaning out your parasites. A lot of people don't even know about parasites, how to identify them, how to test for them, how to clean them out. So now that the cat is out of the bag, parasites are for real, even with picture evidence. Cleaning them out had a huge health benefit for me, and it's not difficult to do. I would absolutely recommend it, but do your own research. There's a lot of research on the internet, and you will benefit from it. So, how did I clean out my parasites? In 2007, I came across a book by Calen called Parasites, the Hidden Cause of Many Diseases. In the book, he describes how parasites can be a central burden to the body,
He also explains how most humans have parasites because they are almost everywhere. And these are the most common parasites that I test for. And it's quick and easy, and it gives a good response. These pictures are of the head of a fish tapeworm, one of my several hundreds that I killed and cleaned out of my digestive tract. The next parasite I cleaned out was called Ascaris, which is a roundworm, most likely from cats or dogs. It's often called a pain parasite. I grew up with animals and have probably had these for a long time. I think this is the most common parasite in humans. These two pictures show an Ascaris parasite as a result of a parasite cleanse. The third parasite I cleaned out was called Echinococcus, a red worm that I probably got from a cat or a dog licking my skin. This parasite is tough to eradicate because they have larvae inside that can spread easily. So here I'm going to tell you how I do my parasite cleanse and what I use. So the recipe comes from the hidden cause of the parasites, the hidden cause of many diseases, or the Hulda Clark book called The Cure for All Diseases. So the Hulda Clark recipe is for black walnut hull, wormwood and clove, and it's I think it's a 28-day program. And this is what the black walnut hull from Hulda Clark looks like. And these are the capsules of the freeze-dried black walnut hull. The next thing that I've tried is something called MMS, sodium chloride. I make a bottle like this with 8 doses and start with 1 drop per dose, and I drink throughout the day, every hour, 1 dose. And then, if that's okay, I increase to 2 doses per 8 dose per day. And then the next thing I do is 3 drops per dose, 8 doses a day. And that cleans out the parasites, the eggs, and the middle stage. Hope you liked the report. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.
Buy now, pay later apps have exploded in popularity. You've probably seen them offered at checkout on everything from clothing sites to furniture stores. The idea sounds tempting. Split your purchase into smaller interest-free payments over a few weeks or months. On the surface, it feels like a budget-friendly way to get what you want without draining your bank account. But before you click confirm, there are some pros and cons to consider. Not long ago, buy now, pay later apps, also known as BNPL apps, were mostly tied to big ticket purchases and emergency items. But lately, they've started popping up everywhere, even for everyday items like groceries, takeout, or gas. That's right. With a few simple clicks, you can now break up the cost of tonight's dinner or this week's grocery haul into smaller, delayed payments. This option has become especially appealing as the rising cost of living squeezes household budgets, making it harder for many people to cover even routine expenses up front. But the key to using these apps is not overdoing it.
My payments were $1,250 a month on Affirm and Klarna, that is. I really want to warn people about the pitfalls of buy now, pay laters. If you can do it responsibly, I mean, that's on you. I clearly could not do it responsibly. And will you think in your head, oh, $50 here, $15 here, but it all adds up. And it gets out of control. And literally, I went viral for having 44 loans. And before that, it was like closer to 50. And I have it down to a little over 20 now, I believe. But I'm about to pay 8 off. I think it's 20. See, it's so hard to keep up with. And I know that you want it now. And sometimes you have to. Like, I've done groceries. I've done all kinds of crap on Affirm and Klarna. But it adds up. And then you are in a chokehold. And in some ways, it is worse than having credit card payments. It's crazy.
Most buy now, pay later apps like Klarna, Affirm, and Afterpay show up as payment options right at checkout when you're shopping online. Once you set up an account, the app runs a quick soft credit or eligibility check. Once approved, you can split your purchase into smaller payments, usually 4, starting with just 25% up front. You can also download the app separately, link it to your debit or credit card, and use it both online and in stores. Payments are typically automatic and scheduled, and they're interest-free as long as you pay on time. But if you miss a payment, that's when fees start stacking up. And if you're using a longer-term financing option, rates can sometimes climb as high as 30% APR. Which makes you wonder, are BNPL apps any better than credit cards?
Part of the reason for its popularity is that buy now, pay later is more accessible than a credit card.
BNPL is very attractive to people who have credit difficulties.
Todd Baker is a lecturer at Columbia Law School who has worked as an executive in finance and teaches about emerging fintech.
Other people do it just because it seems like a good idea.
With a credit card, you need approval to use that credit, often well before you put your shoes in the cart. Companies like Affirm, Klarna, and Afterpay, on the other hand, can approve on the spot and make approvals purchase by purchase. That's because of the different ways they check your credit. Credit card companies do a deep dive into your credit history that shows up on your credit score. Buy now, pay later companies typically perform a less formal credit check and look at additional data, like previous times you've used their service. BNPL can give more spending power to people who may not have access to credit or have credit built up, but that can be an issue.
There is a risk that credit will be extended to you in a situation where you're not likely to be able to repay, and that's not good either for the issuer of the credit or for the consumer.
Most BNPL apps actually make their money not from you, the shopper, but from the merchants and stores. Retailers pay the BNPL providers a fee, often a percentage of each sale, because offering these flexible payment options encourages people to spend more and makes it more likely they'll complete a purchase instead of abandoning their cart. So, while it feels like you're getting a free deal with no interest or extra costs, as long as you pay on time, the app is still profiting on the back end by taking a cut from the seller. Ever wonder why most BNPL apps limit you to 4 payments? It's not just a random number. It's a strategic move.
Not fans of the buy now, pay later apps because you're basically going into debt. But there's something else really sketchy about these companies.
So sketchy. So because they only require 4 payments and instead of 5, they don't have to follow the Federal Truth in Lending Act, which means they don't have to be honest with how much the total loan actually costs that you're signing up for.
They claim that they are doing all the things they should be doing, but legally they don't have to. So
trust them.
The fees, the interest, you never know what's going to happen.
They're going to get you somehow, so just stay away, kids.
Stay away, kids. Say no to Afterpay.
And drugs.
Before signing up for buy now, pay later, ask yourself, do I have a clear plan to pay this off on time? Can I handle multiple payment schedules without losing track? And is this something I really need? Or am I just drawn in by the promise of easy payments? These apps can be helpful tools if used wisely, but it's not free money. And treating it that way can lead to unnecessary debt.
Bay Laurel is more than just a flavorful addition to your kitchen. It also offers a variety of health benefits. UNN Field Messenger Elke explains her process for making a detox drink with Bay Laurel leaves.
Hello, I'm Elke, Field Messenger for UNN, reporting from my kitchen in Carinthia, Austria. And today I want to introduce to you a very special plant, the bay laurel, and especially I want to show you a treatment that you can do very simply and very efficiently by using the leaves of this wonderful plant. First, we travel to Italy, where we will find large specimens of this plant. So come on, join me for a little trip to the south. Nowadays, bay laurel is known especially as tasty and digestive ingredient in the kitchen. Also, essential oil is extracted from the plant. It is known for its cleansing and healing effects. In earlier generations, bay laurel was even considered sacred. Its leaves were used in many different ways. For example, they were placed in pillows to absorb negative energies during sleep. Laurel leaves were also used for protection by burning incense. The evergreen laurel, also known as Laurus nobilis, under good conditions reaches a height of over 10 meters. The plant's berries, when ripe, are blue-black. Laurel is easy to recognize by its smell. If you rub a leaf a little, you will notice its tart, sweet scent. The plant originally comes from the warm and sunny regions of the Middle East. From there, it has spread across the south of Europe. Bay laurel is a wonderful ingredient in the kitchen. What I want to talk to you today is the so-called bay laurel treatment. I suppose it has many beneficent effects, but two things are for sure. It cleanses the blood and removes calcification from the vessels. It is very simple to do, and all you need is bay leaves and water. So here's how it works in detail. Take about half of a liter of water and add a handful, about 5 grams of bay leaves. Crush the leaves beforehand. Then you simmer the bay leaves for about half an hour. Do it over a low heat and afterwards leave the drink to infuse for another 2 to 3 hours. It should always remain covered. The result is a red juice. Now take this very special drink in small sips throughout the day. Repeat this for 3 to 5 days. Apart from this, you can eat and drink normally, as you are used to. I do this treatment since many years and I really love it. Maybe you resonate with it and would like to give it a trial. Thanks for watching. Cheers!
Are you ready to change the world? Take the next step and join our weekly Field Messenger meetings. Learn more at unitednetwork.earth. I am United Network News, and so are you.